World War II was the bloodiest, deadliest war the world had ever seen, with over 38 million casualties from the over 50 nations participating. Although it is often perceived as a conflict between the Allied and Axis powers, it was much more complicated than that in reality, since Germany and Italy had vastly different goals and beliefs than the Japanese. The causes of World War II can be traced back to the First World War. Germany was largely blamed for the entire war, and they had to pay for a huge amount of the damage, which left them in debt, resentful and angry, and could partially explain why Hitler and the German people felt like it was necessary to return Germany to its former glory. The failed creation of the League of Nations is commonly seen as another reason for the Second World War. It lacked credibility since the United States refused to join, and so it was unable to contain or control Germany's spreading.
People viewed fighting in the Navy or the Army as an honorable thing to do, and soldiers were treated almost as celebrities. Although a large amount of Americans were drafted to be soldiers, a good portion, almost 40%, signed themselves up.
I enlisted. I couldn't wait to get in.
Oh, really?
I couldn't wait to get in. I was Pearl Harbor. I was 41. I was 19. I went in 1942. I left Watertown Arsenal. I was a photographer, and I tried to be a photographer in the Navy, but they needed more radio men than photographers in 1942, so they sent me to radio school, so I was a radio man in the Navy. And I was on a seagoing rescue tug.
Life aboard the ships wasn't always fun. The sleeping conditions were cramped, the food was bad, and coping with the loss of friends throughout the war was hard, but to most soldiers it was worth it. There were many different types of ships, radio and communication, bomb ships, and etc. The average time someone was in the Navy was about 33 months, and the total deaths were second only to the Army out of all the branches of service. When they returned home, soldiers were welcomed with open arms back into this country. They were treated as celebrities and could really feel their country rise up behind them.
What was the atmosphere like when you came back to the United States?
It was wonderful.
It was wonderful?
You could do no wrong. It was beautiful. Even to the point, it was great. What's the word? Euphoria. I'm going to use that word. But everything was just la la la. Everyone was happy. It was great.
Everyone in Germany was greatly impacted by World War II. The fathers were all sent away from their families and homes to fight. Before schools were eventually closed, the students would do drills in school so that they would know what to do in case of an attack. In addition, each of the students had their own gas mask that they were forced to carry around school at all times. If there was an attack, the students would be sent home to their mothers. During an attack, families would go to the nearest bomb shelter and stay for as short as a few hours or as long as a few days.
I was supposed to go and register at the school to go to kindergarten. I registered, and then all of a sudden we were told, no more school. We're all done. I never even gotten into kindergarten. We were told, we actually were drilled. They said, you go to school and you hear the alarm, zzz, and you hear the airplanes. You get out of school, you run out, and you go in a ditch, whatever. You do not walk. Do not try to walk home or whatever, because you won't make it. Because sometimes the airplanes came real down, and they would shoot you. Yes, they didn't know we were little kids or whatever. They would shoot you.
Food for the citizens was very scarce because of the majority of it was being sent off to feed the German soldiers.
They started telling the people, okay, you people, you can't have any more food. We had to get coupons. Like every family, maybe once a week, 2 loaves of bread, maybe a gallon of milk, very little sugar, meat, none. because all the food went out to the soldiers on the front line we were told by my mother, and of course that was the thing to do. Number one, you sleep in your gym suit. You have your backpack right next to your bed. And when the sirens came and it went, we knew, uh-oh, here we go again. I jumped out of my little backpack, put it on, down to the shelter. We lived in a bigger.
Some families moved out to the mountains in Germany where they were less frequently being bombed.
Parents took me way into the mountains. All of a sudden we were told, you can go to school now. The Germans said that now. You safe in there. Now you can start kindergarten or first grade, right? So I said to my mom, I don't think I want to go to school. I'm scared when they're coming. What am I going to do? Somebody said the Americans are coming. Now, that was scary. I was scared because we didn't know how they react to us. I was just a little girl. I was 7 years old, right? So my mother was scared because she didn't know either. Because we didn't know, are they going to hate us? Are they going to be nice to us or what? But they just gave us chewing gum. And I didn't know what was chewing gum. And
The communist Italian dictator Mussolini was like a brother to Hitler, and so the Italians were lumped along with Germany and the other Axis powers during the war. In reality, Italy was not really involved in much of the fighting, and Hitler was only diplomatic to Mussolini so that he would not have to worry about an invasion from Italy as the war progressed. Italy is commonly thought of as a country that did not do much in terms of fighting in the war, and that surrendered easily when confronted with pressure. The people of Italy were not interested or excited about the war from the beginning, and so when it was announced that they were going to be involved in World War II, they were terrified and distraught. People lived in fear of attack which they knew they could not defend themselves against, and many fathers and brothers were taken from their families and forced to fight in the war.
We suffer, we learn to suffer. When I go back to Gaeta, we didn't have no water, no lights, nothing. We ate at the beginning, the first couple of days, we ate herb, grass. I remember grass. We eat the grass, and we don't have nothing, no water and nothing. And we used to drink the water from the well. The well was dirty. We suffer so much, I never forget for the rest of my life. When they arrived in Gaeta, the first thing they give bread, water, and they used to go all around all the population of the house. We were infested the animal, the small animal. When we came back from Sora, we slept on the floor. The next day, all my sister, we were all mangiate dalle pidocchie, all our body.
Okay, no, Michael.
After we had come down from the mountains in Sora, my sisters and I had slept on the ground. In the morning after, we had woken up being ravaged by lice.
Lice. And the American people, right away, they came, they put outside, and they spray with the bigger pump. They spray the house, they spray ourselves. They give a lot of food. The American people, my father-in-law say, they came, they liberate, they disfamat, and they spidocchiat.
The Americans came, they freed us, they got rid of our hunger, and they got rid of our lice.
Yeah, and we were free. And I always say, even my heart is in Italy, I always say, God bless America. It's true.
Although people from Germany, Italy, and the United States all had very different goals and feelings towards each other during the war, they were all happy to see it end and get a sense of closure. Also, the senses of animosity between the three nations seemed to disappear when the United States helped to rebuild Germany's infrastructure and the war came to a close. Across the board, even though they were all from different countries, the people that we interviewed all had a common sense of fear associated with this time. Also, those who came to America after the war, even if they were from somewhere like Germany, who has had such a history as being an enemy of the United States, consider themselves American today and feel accepted by and a part of this country.